Marion Swingler here, Confident You Podcast. Hey there, Confident You. I am elated to be talking with who we're going to be talking with tonight. The topic tonight is going to be very, very juicy, scintillating. Listen, it's going to be really, really good. I just want to start with this. Love don't live here in Timor. If you remember this amazing R&B group called Rolls Royce, in 1978, they released a song, and that thing was fire. You've abandoned me. Love don't live here anymore. Oh my goodness. How profound a thought. Guess what? We about to take all that luggage and unpack it with the masterful mind of Monique the Coach. Here she is, Monique the Coach. Listen, ma'am, what?
You better come on with them vocals. You better come on.
Ma'am, here. Love don't live. You've abandoned me. The lyrics. Love don't live here. Just a vacancy. Love don't live here anymore. What's your response to that?
Who has abandoned you? Who? Did he abandon you or did you abandon you?
Oh.
Let's talk about it. Because how are we waiting for somebody else to love on us? How? How and where? Who taught us that? Who taught us to rely on somebody else to fulfill us to the point where we got to say, you abandoned me? Who abandoned you? Did you abandon you? That's my take.
That's your take on that. I just want to warn everyone. She not playing.
I'm coming.
Not playing.
Harlem.
She not playing with you. Because I know you didn't see that coming. I know you could not have seen that. I didn't see it coming.
Right.
Okay, listen. All right. So, Monique the Coach. With such a name, I would think it would be, people would be puzzled. Monique the Coach of what?
The coach of love. And initially, it was something that I named myself. But because, there were friends and family and friends of friends that were coming to me seeking guidance and seeking coaching before I titled myself Monique the Coach. I'm like, one after another, all these people are seeking my guidance. And I said, you know what? I could probably turn this into a business or a career. And so I did. And I am the coach. And then this is something that we can delve into later, but it turns out that my sister is also a coach, and our grandfather our grandfather was a coach, something that he was paid to do. Mm-hmm. My mom is a coach. She didn't turn it into a business, but she is the center of her friends and family and cousins. They all know to call Roxanne when they need some advice. So it's my lineage. It's my purpose.
Come on.
And it's not a self-ordained, but it is a God-ordained name.
Come on.
Monique the Coach. So I am here. I am the coach of love, which is the highest frequency, which is God. Hello, God is love.
Come on here.
And so I am here to mend the broken households where there is no mother and father, where those who desire to have mother and father children structure. I am the coach of that, if that makes sense.
You are the coach of that, if that makes sense. Girl, everybody wants that. Don't do that.
I know. I'm trying to be humble.
Clearly makes sense. That is definitely something the world needs. I can honestly say, only speaking from the perspective that I'm familiar with, the Black family has been attacked. I will leave it there because I could go in.
Well, the numbers are close to 70%. I believe it's 67.4% of Black mothers who are single mother households. And whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, Black women are raising children alone. And we don't want to, but we don't know how to. We don't know how to partnership. We don't know how to submit. And that word burns. When you say submit to a Black woman, she's like, that word, it burns. But submission comes with leadership. Submission comes with leadership, because if you have a man who knows how to lead you and allows you to flourish in your femininity, then it's not a problem. There is no, well, I can't say there is no friction, but there is minimal friction.
Right.
When he's leading you accordingly, when you are equally yoked.
When he's leading you accordingly and you are equally yoked. Let's go back to the yolk of your childhood. How about those eggs? I'm just saying.
My eggs ain't have my hen house ain't have no hen, or excuse me, there were no roosters in my hen house.
There were no roosters
in my hen house. So there was grandma, there was mom, there was auntie. My grandfather was there, but he showed his face when he needed to, but it was not an authoritative type of show your face. So I hope my mom doesn't watch this.
Be careful.
It was all women led.
Yes.
Women led. And we were all, everybody was very masculine. And that's just what it was. Everybody gathered around. We played, not we, because I was a baby. They played Pekino. They sipped their vodka straight, like hairs on your chest vodka, right? Everybody had a glass.
I'm confused. Wait, pause. You're not. Wait, because I need to understand the conversation. If they in the conversation, who's drinking this vodka straight?
The women.
Okay, keep going. That's
right.
A strong drink.
That's a very strong drink. And all the women were sitting around the table drinking their vodka straight. And I remember my Aunt May used to ask me to bring her glass with one piece, she was very particular, one piece of ice with a little bit of her drink. And I never knew what it was, but I knew that it was stank at 10 years old. So they were the matriarchs and the patriarchs. I don't know how women can be both, but that's what it was. So there was no partnership. There was no, happily ever after, because the women ran things and there was no men.
But the thing, what I'm hearing is, because I'm hearing generations of the same.
Right.
So it's going from generation to generation. So the toughness and the strongness is to get through, because there's no one there to be tough and strong on your behalf.
Right.
So I get it. How do you then take that and get to be Monique, the coach, who is here to get a loving family, to get, like, I can't even, like, the question is burning. And I know there is so much in between where we just were and what I'm asking right now. We're going to get back to everything in between, but now I'm just curious. How?
Okay, so it started with my youngest son's father, because I have two baby daddies. Don't judge me, right?
God, please.
Right. It started with my youngest son's father, where I was so in love with this guy who was younger than me. And I'm thinking, okay, he's going to be my husband. And I'm calling myself Mrs. and his last name with no commitment, just foolishly in love and out there and doing all the things that, a married couple would do, household domestics, putting things in my name, putting things in his name, just thinking that this is my person.
Yes.
And when it turned out that he wasn't my person, I was like, I'm gonna go on a hiatus, because if I love somebody else like this and he don't love me back, I'm gonna bust his head open to the white meat. So,
I love your honesty.
so let me hiatus myself and figure out what's happening. Like, why do I keep going through this incomplete love? And so I did a self-analysis, right? And I said, God, I am a woman who loves. There's no way that there is not a partner for me. Like, I know there is. It has to be.
Okay.
I didn't want to fall into the narrative of all men are this, or men
Right.
this or that. That doesn't make sense, because if all men are dogs, then all women are dogs. And right. Right. That's something that I did not want to participate in. So I said, okay. So I just started writing down all of the things that I wanted in a spouse, and, what I wanted him to be and how I wanted him to show up. And I'm sweating like a madman. I mean, dab, dab, dab. Okay. So I just started taking an account of how I was showing up and who I wanted to attract.
Okay.
Right. And
Okay, so we're going to stop there. I just wanted to know how you got out of that. Now we're going to go back. I want to go back. They're sitting around the table. They're asking for their drink. And they're playing the games. How do you, as a 10-year-old, perceive men to be in your relationship and connection with them outside of family?
they're pointless, because women run everything. Women do everything. Women make sure that the food is cooked, the kids are fed, the clothes are clean, the house is clean. The bills are paid. Like, what? Why are you here if I'm doing everything? There's no point into having a man except for to procreate. So that was my perspective and my view. And not only my grandfather, but even my father, who lived around the corner from us, where, my mother and my father were like two neighborhood kids that got together. My father was sporadic. And when he did come around, he was abusive. So I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to eat y'all up. That was my whole adolescence, from teenage years to 20 somethings and 30 somethings. I was like a man eater. Like, get them in, get them out. I don't have no use for y'all. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to use you up. I'm going to chew you up and spit you out. And now I'm Monique the Coach, teaching love, right? How ironic. I'm going to chew you up and I'm going to spit you out, and I'm going to keep it moving, because I'm not going to catch feelings. You're not going to catch me catching feelings. In addition to my father being around the corner, he has 6 brothers. So that means I watched my 6 uncles and how they interacted with women. And I was like, yeah, nah, I'm good. I don't want none of that. Y'all not going to have me crying. I might make you cry. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. You're not going to have me out here looking crazy, fighting over somebody with another woman showing up to your mother's house. That's my boyfriend. No, that's my boyfriend. I'm not doing that. And I was 7. Okay, I'm going off topic. I specifically remember one of my uncles passing away, and 2 women showed up at my grandmother's house claiming to be his. And there was like a fight, like it was chaotic. And I was looking at them as a little girl, like, what y'all doing? Why would you do that? You don't know who your man is. I was a baby. I was a baby, and I just was so confused as to why they were confused. And I took that with me throughout life. Like, you're not gonna play me ever. So I'm gonna stay 10 steps ahead of you every time.
At 7 years old,
I
you
was a
made that
baby.
decision.
Yeah, I was a baby. Hmm. And I
It's
took it with
amazing.
me.
Say it again.
I said, and I took that with me throughout life.
It's amazing how many things we decide as kids. It is simply mind blowing how many of our adult decisions are based on things we promised ourselves subconsciously or
Yeah.
consciously as kids. When I
Yes,
grow up, I'm not doing that. I'm doing this.
yeah.
Wow. 7.
Just happened.
So at 7 years old, you see that. Let's say this table turns and you find out the dude you're dealing with. You ever have that situation is dealing with somebody else. Or you just got hot.
Ask me again in a different way.
Ask you again in a different way. Have you ever been one of those girls in that situation in terms of finding out there's someone else?
Yes. With my first children's father, he was my high school sweetheart. And we had a kid. I was 17, he was 19. And then we separated, and then we came back together and we built a household. So he started moving funny, and I already knew because the uncle experience gave me, like, I know when you move funny. I already know what it is. And so, like, I just confronted him. It wasn't like any crying or why are you doing this to me, and I'm so Harlem, and I took all that masculinity, like, yo, you papa papa, and this is what I saw. What are you doing? This, I know this. Who is that? It's crazy. Oh, the hands, right? Who is that? And so he lied, but I already knew. I already knew what it was, and it
It was
just
really a rhetorical question.
right because I already know. I did my homework before I asked you, right? So it just turned into a long, drawn out, like, is it going to be me or her? And then somehow I became the side chick, right? I allowed that because I knew what was happening and I stayed.
Say it again.
I allowed that because I knew what was happening and I stayed. And then I became the side chick. Right.
It's so profound that you are willing to admit it. That shows just growth and maturity, period, for anyone in any area of life to be able to go. And this was my responsibility in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did this, but this was my responsibility.
Right. Right.
All right, so we get from there, and then where are we with love? Because did love live there anymore after that?
It still lived here. It did because I said to myself, this can't be life. This can't be life. And I know, we're talking about love don't live here anymore, but there was never a time where I stopped loving love. There may have been a time where I stopped loving myself, but I never stopped loving love.
What did that look like?
What did that look like?
Not loving yourself.
Putting myself in situations where I didn't choose me first, where I stayed with someone who mistreated me. And then after leaving, I continued to involve myself in situations where It wasn't about Monique, where I was people pleasing. So that's what that looks like. People pleasing, not loving myself. And people pleasing is easy when you don't put yourself first. It's easy to say, well, what do you need? How can I help you? How can I serve you? As opposed to saying, you know what? Let me take this time and focus on me. Focusing on you is the hard part. Example, the other day I had a thing to do where, I needed my full attention to be focused on me, myself, and I. But on the weekends, I usually make my husband and my youngest son breakfast. So I got up and I got to work, and then it was time for breakfast. And I got up and I went and I made myself breakfast, and I felt bad. And I said, babe, I'm focused on me this morning. I'm sorry, but I'm only going to cook for me. And he was just like, okay. But I felt so guilty because I'm so used to serving and pleasing that me taking that time out to only focus on myself to eat, that was a bad thing. And I had to ask myself, why? Why? Who? If you don't feed you, who's going to feed you? Like, I could rely on my husband to say, hey, you hungry? But that's not his job. Who it's not his job to wash me or to make sure I have clean clothes. That's my job. So here we are. Did that answer your question? I think I went off on a tangent.
But it's very insightful. It lets us know how human you are.
Right.
How relatable you are. How realistic you are. How much you're Monique the coach, but you're a realist. You're not putting yourself on a pedestal to be the coach. You're like, nah, boo, I've been through this fire. Come on, I can help you walk it out.
In the streets. In them coaches streets.
Listen. Oh my goodness. I never thought I would hear you say that. So if your guys have not guessed, 2 episodes ago, I had this beautiful young lady here who happens to be her sister. Dear Miss Haynes. Yeah, and oh my gosh. If you go back and look at it, we laughed so hard on being out here in these streets. And then we had to admit, girl, ain't nobody doing that. We ain't got time for that.
Right.
What? But yeah, but you have to be out in the world and of the world. Well, in the world, but not of the world.
Right.
Just letting your light shine and doing what you do. And I see that is exactly what you do. How did this come about? How did Monique the Coach?
Well, initially, outside of it being my calling and what have you, I started doing vision board workshops in 2018.
What made you do that?
I don't know, because I love vision boarding, and I just thought that it was just, I wanted to share it with the masses, and I was trying to make a coin. I wanted the bag. Like, I'm not going to lie. And I did some research, and it was a market at the time for vision boarding. And so I started doing the workshops, and I had a great response. So I was doing quarterly workshops from 2018 up until COVID. And then in that time, people were asking me to coach them individually. Like, oh, can you coach me? Or can you coach? Like, you're so good at it. Like, I want you to be my coach. And I'm like, I'm not a coach. Like, I just want you to live the life you want to live and put it on a board. And that's it. That's it. I don't want to coach anybody. I want you to make a vision board. Because I'm good at event planning. So I had the whole mimosas, the finger foods, all the materials. Like, it was a whole show.
Yes.
But in that, it was healing people. Ooh, how could I forget this? Let me backtrack. It started with me needing therapy. And I was looking and searching for a therapist, and I started going to therapy. And, I'm in therapy, and I'm like this, and I'm cutting and I'm crying. And like maybe the 4th or 5th visit, I'm like, wait a minute, this is a vision board? And she was like, yes, you didn't know? And I'm like, I had no idea. So it turns out that I was in art therapy, and vision boarding is art therapy. So I'm like, as a Black woman, I've never heard of this,
No.
right? Never. And so if it works for me, I could take this back to my community. So with that being said, that's where I started giving workshops, and people started asking me to coach them, and I'm like, well, I might as well get certified. And so that is where Monique the Coach was born. And, between me going to therapy, doing vision boarding, and then people asking, like, how could I deny the people what they're asking for?
Come on here. Got to give them what they want.
Well, right. Fast forward into 2023, this is my calling. And I remember, you keep opening doors. Wait a minute. I remember.
That is so hilarious because that's the name of the episode.
Opening door. Right. You dancing me. Love the only thing anyone stop playing.
Stop playing. Open the door.
Oh, wow. I remember sitting on my mother's bed. Sitting in my mother's house, because sometimes we got to go back home.
Come on here. But it's great to have a place to go back to. I don't know why people despise that. I'm like, you're lucky. It's people that don't have somewhere else to go.
Hello. And I called it, I spoke with a client, and she called that your foundation. If you don't have a foundation, I can't date you. That's her thing. That's one of her things. Like, if you don't have a place to plant your feet, then you can't be my man. Boom. Okay. So I remember sitting in my mother's house with my mattress on the floor as I was sleeping with my youngest son, right? Because he was my roommate, whatever. I remember saying to myself, what am I here for? Like, I know, and like I could sing, but I don't want to be no Beyonce, or like I don't want to sing. Like, what is my purpose? Like, maybe I don't have one. And I just remember feeling so lowly about not knowing why I was here. And so with that question, it started to unravel, like things in life, like life just started happening, because you got to be careful what you ask. And my grandmother used to say this all the time: be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you ask for, including marriage. But we'll talk about that in the after party. Be careful what you ask for, because when you ask, there's a Bible verse. It's Matthew 7:7. I think it says, what is it? Ask and you shall receive, knock and the door will be opened. Something of that nature. I'm not quoting it fully, but when you ask, there are things that are unseen that are going to happen for you, that you will be think that is happening to you. Right? Those things are happening for you to grow into the person that you need to become, to receive the things that you ask.
Come here.
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
You just said a whole bunch, because you quoted Matthew 7:7. Ask, seek, knock. When did you know to ask? Or when did you ask? When did you ask?
That's a good question. I'm always asking. But there's a difference between asking and asking and knowing. Right? Because you can ask, and then when it's presented to you, because you don't know, you won't see. So you ask, but then you also ask for the knowledge. I don't know what verse it is. This is something about the knowledge and the wisdom to know. Right? Knowing is a big deal. I asked for my husband, but I didn't know he was him until months later. It's not like, when he came, I was like, oh, you're exactly who I asked for. Because it came with some turbulence, and it came with some triggers that I thought that I was healed from. I said, oh, okay, you thought you studied for the test. You think you passed the test, but here's the test.
This is the actual test.
I was like, what's happening? What the hell is going on?
Oh
That's the after party conversation. Make sure you for the after party. But you ask, and you always ask like, God please this and God please that and please. And in addition to asking, you also have to do, because faith without knowledge is what? Faith without work. What is it?
Faith without works.
Without works is dead. So you can say, I'm hungry, and he can provide you groceries, and you can still say, I'm hungry. But if you don't works on the stove, you're going to die of hunger. You got to works. Faith without works is dead, right? So he's giving you the food. He gave you the ingredients. You got to cook.
Yeah. That's what you're doing right now, ma'am. You are serving up a full meal. How? I hear you keep saying him. You keep saying him. Who is he to you?
Whew. You got time? You got time? Honey. I'm gonna start at 1 and I'm gonna go back to 10 and I'm gonna come back to 5.
Don't worry.
I grew up in church. I was everyone in my family was all type of clergy. We had choir directors, we had deacons, we had ushers, all that. So we are a church family, right? And in my 20-somethings and 30-somethings, I felt like the church wasn't it. Because it was a whole lot of, you can't do this, you can't do that, and you can't do this. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what can I do? Show me how to be. Don't tell me who not to be and then leave me out here by myself. So I turned to, the spiritual life, like the crystals, the sage, the tarot cards,
wow.
But all of those things. And I don't think that those things are bad. Those things are tools provided with the intention you put behind it, right? Okay. So I'm not writing it off. However, those things left me without guidance and direction because I didn't know who I was. So when you don't know who you are, it doesn't matter what tools you use, right? As Bob the Builder, you can have a whole toolkit, but if you don't know what to do with the nail gun, you're gonna hurt somebody.
And guess who that somebody is?
Right.
Ooh, you gonna hurt yourself.
I hurt myself without knowing where I'm going. And I'm driving in the car and I'm crashing into everything. I don't know where I'm going. So I said to myself, I need to get back to my word. I need to get back to studying for myself and knowing what I know to be true. To me, the only thing that I knew as truth.
What triggered that? Where did that trigger? What conversation was that? How did that look?
My sister and I were at the podcast summit with Mr. David Shands.
Yes. Right? Come on here.
Right? Morning meetup, MMU.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. And we were talking about something, and she said something about Jesus, and I said, "You believe in Jesus?" And she was like, "Yeah, you don't." And I'm like, "But I thought we wasn't doing that. Like, I thought we was like saging and crystals. Like, that's what we were doing, right?" And she said, "No. Like, I believe in Jesus. Like, I tried it, but that don't work for me." And then she started telling me,
Call on me.
Yes, go. I'm tagging you in. Boop, boop.
Listen, you said we. You said that's what we doing?
Yeah. Because I thought we was like saging. Like, whoa, wait. I said, like, hello, I still got my sage. What we doing? So
you like, I missed the meeting?
Who said we was Team Jesus? Like, why would you do that without me? You my sister. Like, you are your sister's keeper. How dare you? And I know I'm older and that don't matter.
It doesn't.
How dare
It
you?
doesn't. You better recognize wisdom and love and strength and who builds you and who helps you, because age don't matter, because there's some things you're the strength in and some things she's the strength in, and together that's a
Honey,
powerful dynamic duo.
and let me tell you something, because her son, my nephew, who is 20, has been studying the Bible, and he was breaking it down. He was like, Auntie this and Auntie that, and he was just giving me like I had a whole Bible study with my nephew. He was the teacher, and I
Age
was
doesn't matter.
obedient. If the age does not matter, I was obedient and I
Yeah.
listened. And so with my sister saying that, she was now a believer again, and I'm listening to her, and she told me the story of Moses and how he told Moses to go and tell that man let his people go,
Yes.
but he couldn't talk. He had a speech impediment.
Right.
And so he said, me? You talking about me? You want me to go and tell
Go to
this Pharaoh this, and that? You want me?
Right.
He did not believe in himself.
Right.
But when God said,
Hmm.
y'all ain't listen. I said, when God said,
Come on here. Don't make me start clapping, because ain't nobody going to be able to hear. We'll put my hands away from each other on purpose because you talking about my mans.
right, abandoned. When God said, go tell them people, let my people go, and he did not believe in himself, but he did it anyway.
Yeah.
God took that thing that hindered him and removed it. When my sister said those words, I started crying like a baby, because I was like, ain't no way that the God you talking about, the God that we went to church with when we was kids, you talking about that same God? You talking about that same God?
That's not the same guy that you met?
I said, well, I don't know that God. And she said, you better get to know him.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, well, let me open up my laptop and start Googling something. I probably need to go to school.
Oh, there it is.
Right. So with that being said, the feeling that overcame me, the feeling that took charge, was a feeling of wanting to know. Like, if I said that I'm the coach of love, then I better know love. I better know love, and I better know what I'm talking about. So let me go on ahead and Google this man you talking about. Let me look him up. Right. And with that being said, the first verse that I came upon was, I believe it was Exodus or Ecclesiastics. It was 3:14. It was one of those, either Exodus or I think it was Exodus 3:14, and it says, "I am that I am," meaning who am I? Who am I in Him? I am that I am, and I'm talking to my sister again. Low wisdom chica, all the low wisdom chica.
Don't do it.
Like, we get the 3:14. She's like, what's 3:14? I'm like, I don't know. The 3:14, she's like, 3:14 is pi. I'm like, pi is full circle. You mean to tell me that I went through all of that to come back around full circle to my God? What?
Wow. That.
Okay. Mind you, when I attracted my husband, I was full throttle Christian when I attracted my husband. And then when I left Christianity, things seemed to blur. I did not seem to manifest anything because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't have a foundation. The very moment that I decided my God was my God, baby, everything is clicking. Good morning.
Yes. You can see clearly now. The
rain is going right.
And the crazy thing is, the rain doesn't leave. It's that you can see clearly now.
Yes.
I can see clearly now. Now the rain is not pounding into my eyes that I can't see. The rain still exists, but now I'm looking through the lens of God so I can see clearly what's on the other side of this rain. And I know I'm going to make it because He with me.
Right. Right. That is who He is to me. He said, daughter, I ain't go nowhere. I've been here. You're going to make me cry. He said, I did not go nowhere. I am here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you ever thought that while you were away from Him, there was a reason?
Not until just now. And I think that I had to learn what faith meant and exactly who God is. God is not who your pastor says He is. God is not what the church portrays Him to be, but God is who He is to you. Hello. Oh, hold on.
I saw that. It was in your shanana. I saw it. You just
It was in much. Hello, as a love coach, you have to date someone. You have to get to know someone. You can't know somebody and want to spend your life with them if you don't know them. And so I went all around the bend and back again to come back to say, wait a minute, it was you the whole time. It was always you. You was my man. And I didn't know it. I didn't recognize it.
Yeah.
So that me leaving and having to go a different route, it was just so much uncertainty. And there was no rule books and no guides. So now studying the principles and a way of being and a way of living and a way of loving, like it's there. It's all there. Yeah. There's nothing to look for because it's a blueprint.
Ma'am, you said something before we get to that blueprint. You said, and He was always there. He was my man. What you said in the beginning of this discussion is, I didn't see men. So I thought they were disposable. I thought they were useless. You had all of these views on men, and now you see God as the man that is your protector, as the man that is your provider, as the man that loves you unconditionally, the man that has never left you nor forsaken you. He's never forgotten about you, even if you didn't want Him.
That is amazing because it wasn't until, oh my Lord, I'm crying. It wasn't until, I decided to submit all those reservations and ways of being. It wasn't until I decided to submit, it changed my perspective of marriage. And it changed my views on being human and just submitting to the things that I have no control over. Right? Because you can want to control those things, but it's going to drive you crazy. You don't have no control over how somebody else is being. You have none. So it wasn't until I said, you know what, like God is my God. I am who I am, and my husband is my husband. That brought upon my household so much peace. So much peace.
What did the not peace look like, and what did the peace look like? Give me an example of not peace to the peace.
Baby.
Wait a minute.
Right.
What about the statement? I want to make one statement because it says, stop playing, open the door, What about doors off the hinges?
Oh, no, you did.
Did you hear that? You heard that.
Wait, I lost you. Look, you see me trying to be funny. I done lost you. I can't see you no more. Wait.
Yes, you can. You can see me and I can see you. Don't make me get up on this screen.
Okay, there we go. Here we go.
Monique.
Why would you do that?
I'm just saying, because you said, stop playing, open the door. I heard you open the door.
I took that thing off the hinges. Off.
What happened?
Ripped that door off the hinges. Now, this is the part where, what was the word we used before submitting and obeying? I didn't have the tools to communicate.
Yes.
I don't know if you hear the background in my house, but
you're fine. I know you got a baby. It's cool.
I took the door off the hinges because I did not have the tools to communicate. My husband and I got into a disagreement, and he was saying one thing and I was saying another, and I didn't want to listen to what he was saying, and I felt like I was being attacked by the words that he was using. Whether or not he was attacking me, we still don't know, and we won't because it's over and it wasn't recorded.
And you let it go.
I let it go, but at the time, I didn't have the tools to communicate, and I got so mad that I was like, I want to hit him. But I respect him as my husband, so I can't do that. So let me just rip the door off the hinge. So I no longer have a bedroom door. I did. I used my two hands, my ones and my twos, and I straight snatched the door off. And for me, it was very relieving. Like, I was like, yeah, he not gonna play with me. Who wants a woman that rips doors off?
Wow.
I did, and I was very satisfied with it. But at some point, I had to take accountability for the way I was showing up in my marriage. So for him to respond to me in a certain way, I had to be showing up in a certain way. So the person I was showing up as required verbal abuse. If I want to be honest and transparent, I was requiring that. I was acting out in such a way where it was like, talk to me like this or else I feel like you don't love me. Right?
It's amazing how accustomed we can become to certain things. Mm-hmm. Things that aren't right, things that we know aren't right. But if you become accustomed to them and you get your own definition of love, then that's what you need. And that's what I call unhealthy or dysfunctional love.
Right. And it's not that it was in him to behave to nature, but it was
what you wanted.
It's what I required. And so that was my behaviors. And so once I recognized who I was being and how I was showing up, I changed it and automatically changed how he responded to me.
What was the change? Because we were talking about God and then we were talking about the doors off. What was the change? That automatic switch.
I know the word that's coming up is sweet. So sweetness is, as instead of approaching him as, my opposition or someone who I was up against, like, oh, I got to do this before he do it, or I have to. It was always a one-up kind of thing. So instead of treating him in such a way, I decided to treat him like I would treat a 4-year-old. And so treating him with the kindness, and I'm also a teacher at my sister's daycare. So the same way I treat those 2, 3, and 4-year-olds, I decided to approach my husband with that same tenderness. The same way God treats us. Hello. So once I started loving on my husband like he was a 2 or a 3-year-old, it totally changed the way he received me. I mean, completely. There's no anguish. None. We have a little friction here and there, but for the most part, my goal is to make sure that he is safe. So, in creating that safe space for him, he creates a safe space for me.
That is a beautiful exchange because as women, we always, or I've always heard, and I'm not talking about everyone, I'm talking about what I've heard. I've always heard that descriptive of being safe is something that a man provides for you. It's not something that we describe as what a woman gives to. We give care, we give food, we give a clean house, we give, but to say that security, is that the word you used?
Security, right? I don't know what that means out in the world. Like the dating world is topsy turvy. I'm here to shake the narrative. I'm Jesus of Nazareth. I'm flipping tables. I'm coming in your house and I'm flipping your table over because I don't do the typical dating scene. I don't believe.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Let me dab while you absorb that.
You coming in flipping tables or you coming in ripping doors off?
I see what you did. I see what you did there. I'm using it. I'm using all that. I'm doing that because I don't believe in this dating narrative. I don't. The woman creates the safe space. We have the womb. So as far as I'm concerned, we have come up where men don't cry, men don't do this, men don't do like he gotta know that he okay with you, sis. He gotta know that he could tell you all his secrets and they're not gonna go nowhere. Like you're not gonna
sister, not to your homegirl, not to his homeboy, not to your mama.
Nobody. He's gonna tell you his deepest, darkest things, and you're not gonna get on the phone like, girl, let me tell you what he's. No, you as a woman create the safe space. I mean, the men, whatever. They say that he should create the safe space financially, but initially, you are the womb, you are the incubator of all things that he shares with you. So once I created the safe space, baby, it just revealed all kind of things about my husband that I never knew. And it's 5.5 years in, and I'm still learning him. And I'm still like, you don't know, I didn't know that. Who could be touching like that? Why you do that to me? Because he's safe. Because he's safe, and that's a space that I created.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, in helping people, I know you just held an event. Can you talk about that just a little bit so people can know what to expect when working with Monique the Coach?
So I just did an event with 5 of my closest friends where healing is a personal journey. However, we can come together and heal together, although it's a personal journey, because we all go through things that are similar, right? And so I had myself, of course, where I talked about love, all things love, and I had a nurse practitioner who talked about how loving your body is fueling your body properly and eating the right foods. Then I had my sister, right, so then I had my sister, Michelle, or dear Miss Keynes, talk about how the relationship with your children is also a journey because they are a direct reflection of your parents' parenting. And I'm sweating. remember that.
It's the
Right.
light. It's the light.
Like, children are a direct reflection of your parents' parenting unless you intentionally shift that. Right. And then I had Coach Shay, where she did like the whole gingerbread woman, where you're tapping into who you were as a child, who they told you were, how you perceived yourself, and who you are now.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like a vision board for your soul.
Wow.
Then we had Miss Sparkle Bailey talking about all things feminine,
Yeah.
femininity, and how you show up as a femininity fairy. So it was just an event of women coming together and pouring into each other, and then pouring into the others.
Yes. Yes. That is absolutely beautiful. I want to thank you for coming through and sharing the fact that love does live here. Love never left. Stop playing and open the door, sis. And if you have to, rip that thing off the hinges. I just want you to go ahead and tell everybody how they could work with you. I would love for the Confident You family to find out how they can take an opportunity to work with you and explain in detail, just a brief synopsis of what it is that you do, what that specialty is, please.
So when I work with you, I'm going to take you through my 9-step blueprint. I am going to take you from A to Z, crawling, walking, running, to dating, from not being able to be out there on the scene to actually attracting your person. That is my 9-step blueprint. So you can DM me the word blueprint, right, in order to help you attract your partner. In addition to that, you cannot settle when you don't know what you're looking for. Like, you gotta have a list. You gotta make what you want known. And here we go. My book is the Love Magnet Attraction Formula, right? And so you can DM me the word copy, so we can arrange for you to get your copy of the Love Magnet Attraction Formula. Okay. And in addition to that, you can follow me on Instagram at Monique The Coach. And I'm also on Facebook at Monique Talley. There are many ways for you to contact me. You can also call me. I don't believe I put my number there, but you can also call me at 917-319-6265. But in the event that you need to reach me ASAP, you can DM me at Monique The Coach. Honeys, get with me. Let's figure it out. And let's find you your person. You don't have to be out here dating and searching blindly. You can have guidance and you can have a coach. Okay? And with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
With that being said, you're going to turn it back over to me. Okay. I see how you do. You said a lot. I want to thank you for being here. I really do. I appreciate that you came through and bear it all for someone else be able to bear it all.
Wow.
To be able to see their way through, to know what an example of a man is, God. To be able to know just everything that you shared, the importance of an open door, and to what lengths you should go to get it open. Don't be stuck inside. I appreciate that. If you wouldn't mind, I do have that number there that you guys can text. So that will be in the description box. Again, that's 917-319-6265. But I just want to know if before you go, you can share with the audience some confident tips on opening that door by any means necessary?
When you start to open that door, you have to have a list. And that is actually step one in my book and step one of my blueprint. You have to have a list to know what you want. You don't go to the grocery store without a list, right? When you go on vacation, you know where you're going, you know your destination. You have to have a list. You cannot say, I want to start dating, and you don't. And I'm not talking about, how he has to look. I'm talking about the internal list. Do you want him to be kind? Should he love children? Should he have a relationship with his mother or his guardian? All of those things are important. So please, please, please write down. And I'm gonna ask you to start with 30 things that you want in a partner. 30, because 10 is easy. 25 is 30 is pushing it. A list of 30 things that you want in a partner, and have that list present. And before you go on your dates, read that list and see what he checks off. That's what I have for you.
My Lord, make that list. And you said not the looks, but I know you meant not just the looks.
Not just the looks.
Not just the looks. So do that. But what's more important is what's on the inside. For me, at the top of the list, can I share?
Yes.
At the top of my list is he has to believe in Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's that simple for me in terms of I know that now. And I know that's something a descriptive, a characteristic, a belief, a faith, a walk that I need in the person that I'm with. So that's my number one. Gave one power-packed confidence tip, and that is definitely my number one on my list.
Well, because your leader has to have a leader.
Hey,
Hello, I'm a coach, and I have a coach.
Yeah.
I better.
Yes.
Right? Because if I'm insane, how can I lead you?
Yes. Yes. And life happens. Most people think that the people that are the leaders are in a perfected position, a position of perfection. And that's not what that means.
No.
That means that you know something and you're willing and you have the capability to share it with others.
Right. We are just in a different position of knowing and learning and have gone through certain cycles of life. But by no means are we above or higher or more perfect. We are still human. We still bleed. We still get hungry. We still need to shower. We still need to shower.
You're right.
Right.
You're right.
Right. So,
I want to thank you for coming through. That it's been an honor and a privilege just to have you walk us through your life experience. I am telling you right now, with you sharing the things that you shared, it gives someone else hope to know, wait, I've been through that. Wait, that's how I felt. Wait, that's what my experience was. Or, wait, that's why she act like that. I would suggest that you want to send this episode to your boy. Right. So he could know why some of the women around him act the way that they act, why they just their character, their mannerisms are the way that they are. It's not to diminish him. It's because we've been asked to be so big in our lives that we've become giants, and sometimes we can't see the other giants on the field. So I want to thank you for coming through and sharing that. I'm full. I am.
Me too.
I'm full. I thank you. I thank you. I thank God for you. Thank you so much. My Lord. All right. Confident you. Listen. She wasn't playing from the moment she opened her mouth, and she ended not playing either. Listen. If you need a blueprint for how you're going about anything in your life, I think one of the most top 5 things you definitely need a blueprint on is your relationships and how you're showing up and how you're pursuing, how you're being pursued, who you want to represent, because you don't want to keep showing up and showing your representative and then wondering why it's not working, when you could sit down with Monique the Coach and she could walk you through those 9 steps and help you really have an honest, more bulletproof plan on how to find your mate and how to be found. Thank you so much, Confident You. You know, this is where my heart is. I want to speak on my heart. If you or someone you know is suffering at the hands of domestic violence, Bethany House is here for you. You can reach Bethany House at 1-888-80-HELPS. That's 43577. Or you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 7233. As always, I would appreciate if you could like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Marian Swingler and at ConfidentYou_podcast. You know it. Why underscore? Because there is so much more to come. I thank God for the opportunity to serve you. I know that if you paid attention, you learned something. That's what we do here. All right. Until next time, I appreciate you. Appreciate yourself. Give yourself grace. Keep learning. Keep growing. See you next time.